salvete, picking up where we left off on verbs in the dictionary. We said that these are the four principal parts: porto, portare, portavi, portatus. This is the first person singular, present tense, porto, I carry. The infinitive form, to carry, portare. The perfect first person singular, I carried, and this is active. I was doing the carrying here. And this is the participle form, fourth principal part, perfect passive participle, which is carried, and it's the adjective form of the verb, if you want to call it that. So if you want to say I carried, you say portavi, but if you want to say I was carried, you say portatus sum, and you put sum with it. I was, and then portatus carried. By itself, it's just kind of like an adjective, a verbal adjective. So why do they give you all these forms in the dictionary? It's because the spelling of each of these forms varies a little bit. They have different stems, is what they're called. And from these four forms, you can, by adding some sounds, some letters, and taking away some letters and doing things like this, you can make all the forms of the verb in Latin, and there's a lot of them. But from these four forms, all the other forms grow. And so that's why grammarians have chose to put these four forms in the dictionary, because they will help you understand what spelling occurs in what tense if you know the system. And so that's what these podcasts are supposed to do, or these videos, is to teach you the system of how this is all organized and how it occurs in Latin, because it's very nice and neat and organized in Latin, as in many of the Romance languages, all the verb grammar system. So here I have the term all conjugations. Okay, now whereas a declension, we just did a lot with declensions in nouns. There's 5 declensions. Those are noun families that have similar endings and spellings. There are verb families, and we call them conjugations. And for the most part, in verb families, the stem functions very similarly, and then the endings, there's a certain set of endings that go, and all these verbs in this particular family have a similar vowel, and they behave and form their other forms in similar ways. So there are 4 conjugations in Latin. There's a first conjugation, and that uses the long A here, and that A is very prominent in the forms. There's the second conjugation, which uses an E right here, long E. This is how you identify it in the dictionary. You look at that infinitive form and look at those vowels. That's the second. It's not going to say second conjugation. Well, sometimes it does, but you just look at that E if you don't know. In the third conjugation, it's a short E. Notice this. That's why you have the long marks here and not here. There's a variant on the third conjugation. This has a short E also, but notice in the first principal part it's duco, ducere. Here it's facio. If it has that io there, then that means it's a third io, and they function just a little bit differently. And then there's a long I here, audire, that's the fourth, and that has an io too, if you notice. It's kind of similar to this. So this third IO kind of takes some features of the third and some features of the fourth, and it's kind of a mixed conjugation as far as its forms. So here I say the infinitive form always reveals the conjugation or the verb family to which the verb belongs. All these infinitive forms, that's very helpful for you. And in the next video, we're going to see what all of these conjugations look like, what their spelling looks like in the present tense.